Hudak is the incident response practice lead for the cybersecurity company Trusted Sec. Thank you so much for joining us. So when hearing the call and text message records of tens of millions of AT&T customers have been hacked, what are your immediate concerns for people, and what does that really mean? Because you know the content of the texts and the calls weren't there, but just the fact that they were taken in general.
Sure. Yeah. So there's definitely some concern around somebody being able to correlate the information to individuals. It's not that difficult to be able to take a phone number and figure out who it belongs to. And by that, you are able then to figure out who is talking to who, how long are they talking for. There was some cell phone tower data within the information, so you could potentially track somebody's movements, their geographic location, and so on. So this could lead to a big privacy issue for a number of individuals.
Again, it's nearly all. That was the first we heard there was a big hack,
right?
And then later on in the day today, we heard nearly all of our customers. And for a company as massive as AT&T, that was kind of shocking. I'm also wondering though, what's the motivation here? Whoever these hackers are, is it to get the ransom money? Is it to just send a message? Is it a trial run for a later attack? Is it to get the info and then try to dig and see who all this belongs to target them? What's the end game here?
So it's really difficult to tell. In cases like these, you know, there hasn't been any ransom that we've known about. So it could very well be that the people who are behind this access the data, they stole the data, and in an attempt to later on sell it. There have been rumors that this is related to the Snowflake cloud data storage hack that happened earlier on this year, where a large number of companies were compromised, and that data has slowly been showing up on the darknet for sale. So it's likely this is going to be a financially motivated attack, but at this point, it's really anybody's guess.
For something that happened back in 2022, how did it come about that we're finding out about this now, years later? And what does it say to you that we use third-party platforms? Is that common, that, you know, protect and contain personal data as well?
Yeah, so the data is from 2022. It's not necessarily that the hack occurred in 2022. In fact, I believe that there's evidence that from the SEC filing that the hack actually occurred in April of this year, which would put it in line with the Snowflake hack. The fact that we're just hearing about it now, according to the 8K filing from AT&T, kind of leads to that there's an ongoing investigation with law enforcement, and they asked them not to report it. It sounds like there may have even been an arrest made. So there is actually progress on finding out who did this, which is not something you always see within cases like this.
And to make sure I'm clear on this, you're saying that the hack itself happened reportedly, we're still learning, happened this year, but it targeted data from 2022, or the hack itself happened in 2022 and we're finding about it 2 years later?
That the compromise occurred this year, a couple months ago, and the data that was taken was from 2022.
Okay.
So that's not uncommon to have cloud storage services hold your data. You know, we don't know details, so the attackers could have gotten in. They could have just had access to that data. It could have been a backup that they stole. There's a lot of unknowns here and a lot of possibilities.
Would you say that the best advice that we all need to work under personally, professionally, is that assume one day you will be hacked for whatever reason, and do your best to build up security in the meantime? Because it seems like these hackers, they get anywhere they damn well please.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. You know, the best advice is to just, you know, monitor your information, look for anything unusual, monitor your credit report, you know, make sure that you're using multi-factor authentication for sites, and, you know, just look for anything unusual. And when you see something unusual, you know, maybe that's the time to go through and, you know, start changing passwords, you know, watch your credit card statements, all things like that. Unfortunately, breaches like this have kind of become ubiquitous in society, so we're kind of getting numb to it, but there's still a lot of steps that you can take to protect yourself.
Gotcha.
So numb to it that if I ever see an email about a breach, I think, oh, that's probably spam.
That's probably spam.
You know, it's probably,
we're lying about it.
You know, because we see it all the time.
And scale of 1 to 10, the average AT&T customer today, including yours truly, how worried should we be? 10 being freak out, 0 being go back to sleep.
I mean, I would go probably between a 4 and a 5, unless you have some conversations with individuals that you want to hide. So, celebrities, government officials, things like that. They don't want that information getting out there. I mean, really, nobody wants that information getting out there. But I would say in the terms of scale right now, because content of the calls and messages were not in the breach that we know of so far, it's probably on the lower end.
All right. Well, my source is the CIA.
There you go.
Gotta
You
get
are
all that
safe
together
with
today.
Rob. God.
Tyler Hudak from
He
the
has so many secrets.
So many.
I don't even know him. I sit next to him every day.
Big file. Tyler Hudak from the cybersecurity firm Trusted Sec. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. It is time for